folks, this is Sandy from Creative Chaos. I'm just popping in for a little chat. I'll let you know what's going on in my little corner of paradise. I hope this finds everyone well. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment by all means, and I hope you come back and see me again. So anyway, without further ado, not a whole lot going on over here. Spring is finally arriving on the coast. The weather is gorgeous. It's still a little cool, but I'm looking forward to being able to get out in my garden again. With my mobility, with my back and my knees, I have to chop that little task up into little bite-sized pieces because I can't do it for a long period of time. I used to be able to go out and work in the garden for several hours. Now I'm lucky if I last a half an hour, but that's okay. It is what it is. So yeah, the weather here is really nice, and looking forward to being able to get out more. You may notice, or maybe not, we've got another hair color. Now when I'm sitting back here, you can see better the purple tinge in the hair color. I actually quite like this one. The red one was okay. I really like the pink one. But I prefer this one, I think, to the red one. And this does have a red tinge, but it's not as red, that makes sense. I think you can probably see the color, but I'm also going to change the light here. You can see it's a very, very dark red, which I quite like, but with a very purpley tinge. So I'm enjoying that. I'm sure my neighbors think I'm crazy. I think they probably say that crazy woman across the street. She's come home with a different hair color again. Well, I mean, I'm going to color my hair anyway, so I might as well do something fun, right? So that's the hair color du jour. And I think I'm probably going to stick with this one. See, it looks much darker like this than it does with the light on it. But anyway, I really like it. I'm very happy with it. What else happened? Oh, I went and got my COVID shot. And nothing to it, walk in the park. Because I'm on the compromised list, I was able to get my shot this week. Of course, I showed up on the wrong day, big surprise there. I was supposed to go Friday, marked on the calendar for Friday, but showed up on Thursday for some reason. I have no idea why. Anyway, I was lucky I got the shot, and I'm on the schedule for 2 shots. So my next shot will be sometime, I think, around the end of July. 4 months. What would that be? May, June, July, May. Yeah, maybe even August. It's hard to say. But there was nothing to it. I haven't had any side effects. My arm hasn't hurt me. It didn't really hurt to get the shot. It was all just very easy peasy. I would recommend to anybody. I know a lot of people are disconcerted and not really supportive of the idea of getting vaccinated, but I would strongly suggest that you do. I mean, let's face it, the main goal, I would hope, would be that everybody would be vaccinated so they don't catch the disease and they don't spread it and kill somebody, but also that we can hopefully at some point get back to normal. Now, I, for one, can't wait till I can take off my stupid mask. I wear it everywhere. But I feel like I'm kind of some old crone. I haven't had makeup on for weeks, except today I put a little bit on, but I haven't had makeup on for weeks, and I'm not at my best when I'm not wearing makeup. Let's just put it that way. But again, this may be our new normal. I mean, in Asia, they wear masks all the time. Now, I'll grant you that's because of the pollution is so bad, but with climate change and everything, who knows? We may have to actually wear masks out in public from this point on. Let's keep our fingers crossed and say we don't, but we may have to. So I guess we just need to suck it up and get over with it. Get over it. But anyway, A+ on the shot, no issues whatsoever. So that was good. I was glad to get that. It was a little bit of a weight off my mind. I'm just anxious now for my daughter to get her shot so that she's safe as well. What else? I'm in a townhouse. and it's a large townhouse. It's like 2,175 square feet, 3 stories. And I have a good sized backyard for a townhouse. A lot of the townhouses that are around today, they have a little postage stamp for a backyard, but mine's actually almost as big as some of the newer homes that you see that have small backyards. So anyway, several years ago, I guess it would be probably at least 15 years ago, a friend and her husband put in a water feature in my flower bed, and it was pretty basic stuff, but it's worked great, and I loved it because I like the sound of the running water. I find it's very soothing. It's nice background noise, and I get the birds come and bathe in the fountain and whatever. So I really like that. And in the winter, when it's cold, and even when we get snow, we don't get snow very often, but when we do get snow, I let it run all year long so that the birds and the squirrels and whatever can come and get water. So anyway, long story short, it started acting up on me about a year and a half ago, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. At first, I thought it was because it was so hot that the water was evaporating more quickly, but through the process of elimination, I determined that, I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Pardon me. I determined that I think the liner has a hole in it because the water was not, the system is very simple. And what we did was there was a reservoir in the ground, like a Rubbermaid container, a large Rubbermaid container with a pump in it and water. And it was in the ground, so it was level to the ground. And there was plastic tubing that came up from the, I want to say fan, the pump, from the pump up through the rock with a hole in it, and then the water would go down over the rock and go back through a rock bed back into the container. Well, that stopped happening, and I think there's a hole in the liner, and I was going to try to fix it, and I've been hemming and hawing about it because I'm just refilling it every day, and it's a pain in the ass. So anyway, long story short, I decided, no, I'm not going to fix it. I've had it for 15 years. I don't think it cost me $100. I've had it at least 15 years, and it runs 24/7. So I bought myself a new one. I bought myself a fountain on Amazon. It was a little pricey, but I mean, it wasn't, in the whole scheme of things, it wasn't, out of line. I think it was about $300. And it's kind of the same idea, a little bit different, but the same idea. The one that I have out in the backyard is just very plain. Doesn't have a lot of doodads or decorations or whatever. So anyway, I got this thing from Amazon, so I'm really anxious to get that out there, and so the birds can come back and start using it and whatever. So hopefully I'll put that out probably tomorrow and get it up and running. So I'm excited about that. Still working on organizing my room down here. My daughter and I were discussing it, and I had an epiphany because I was thinking I had to bring everything down here to empty out that room. And she said to me, Mom, you don't need to bring it down. You can use that as a warehouse, if you will, or a storeroom for the stuff that you don't use every day. And there's lots of space up there. That room isn't going to be used for anything else. So why would you bring all that stuff that you don't need down here? So I thought, so then I felt a little more comfortable with what I've got set up down here, because I was starting to get a little worried about where I was going to put everything and how I was going to get rid of the other stuff and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, so that's good. So I'm feeling better about that. I am gradually going through my paper and whatever. I've got 2 boxes of stuff to go to Goodwill, some of it which includes art supplies. So I am making progress. It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but there's no hurry. I didn't get all this stuff overnight, and I sure as heck won't get rid of it overnight. So that's the name of that tune. I've been fairly busy with my 100-day project. I don't think I've shown you any of this before, Sorry, sorry about that, folks. I don't know what happened. When my camera cut out, I guess I inadvertently turned it off and forgot to put the record back on. So I was just getting to the part about my 100-day project. So I will show you what I've accomplished in the last little while. I've actually been quite busy. I don't think I've shown you this before, any of this, but if I have, my apologies for the duplication. So here we go. This is a collage from a couple of collage sheets. I wanted something botanical in theme, and this came together quite quickly. This here is a Canadian lady here in the Vancouver area. I think she actually lives in Burnaby, who does digital kits, and she designs a lot of botanicals and does a lot of very cool stuff online. I think her name is Mary Lou Cadiz. Can't remember what her name is, but you'll see her if you go on Instagram. You'll see her. She does a lot of stuff on there. And anyway, I bought one set of her digital sheets, and I really like them. These are not her sheets, I don't believe, but this stamp is hers. Yeah, so I'm pleased with how that came together. This, I don't think I had a plan. Well, I know I didn't have a plan. I just slapped some paint on, and I don't slap paint on very well. I see people putting paint on, and they just can seem to put it on the various swaths of paint in different colors, and it all just comes together so nice and looks so, I don't want to say seamless, but mine never turned out that way. So this one was just a painting, like you can see some of the paint here was like an orangey coral, sorry. But I just kept slapping paint down, rubbing it back, stenciling, slapping more paint down, rubbing it back, stenciling, and then outlining and drawing, and the finished product, I'm quite happy with it. It does present on camera much lighter than it actually is in person. And I guess if I put it this way or down a little bit more, you'd see the more colorful. But it was very relaxing. Once I get over my frustration that I think it looks like crap and start working with it, then it usually resolves itself. This one is a really ugly doodle of a flower, and I do mean ugly. But whatever. I mean, this background is a free collage sheet from, I got several of them from, I think I took a free course from her, from Tracy Batista, years ago. Like, I mean, we're talking probably 10 years ago. And this particular collage sheet is all doodles. Like, there's no wide open white spaces. Like, every bit of space, it's a black and white collage sheet, but every bit of space is covered with a doodle or writing or something. So I just took it, kind of did a patchwork of it. I wiped it back a little bit with some white gesso, and then doodled this ugly flower and these ugly leaves. And I said, call it a day. I'm done with this. I'm so done with this. And then I just added some washi tape at the bottom and the top. And you know, whatever. It's not going to go in the Louvre or anything, but I'm okay with it. This one started out as a piece of paper that was just a rectangular piece of paper, and I was going to use it as a tag, and then I thought, you know what? I can use this for one of my 100-day project. art project pages. So it was just basically paint. This is a bit of stenciling, and then I just doodled, just put these colors in, and traced around the stencil at the top, doodled in some leaves, did some mark making, and that was it. And I like the colors. I like the warmness of it, and I like the fact that it's not overly bright. Like, it is bright, but it's not in your face, need a pair of sunglasses bright. And I'm going to flip this. I think you can, on its side, you'll see the outlining on the flowers, or on the leaves. That is one of those clear, sparkly pens, Sakura pens. And I just thought that it needed something there. It was a little flat. So yeah, so I'm pleased with that. This one started out as a paper napkin, and it was a pretty basic paper napkin. And I just couldn't seem to get it to come together, so I kept adding paint, rubbing back paint, adding paint, taking paint off, stenciling, taking paint off, adding more paint on, whatever. So I played around with it for a while, and then I just kind of got a little bit fed up with it. So I thought, I'll put some gold on it. And I guess you can see the gold. There's like gold here, stenciled, and more up here, and there's also copper paint on there. And then I had saved this little bird, and I thought, he would go, the color looks pretty good there, he would go, but I needed something to act as a background, because if I just put him on there with the napkin, the way the napkin is now, he would just fade into the background. So that's where I picked up this little scrap, which I think fits in pretty good. And where was I going with that? Oh, again, I traced over the stencil where I could, just to define it. Ooh, I'm getting cramp in my finger. And here, this actually looks like it's a branch, but it wasn't. It was just a kind of a florally looking, like it looked like up here, like these look like branches, but they weren't. They were just parts of the stencil. It's like 4 parts like this. Anyway, I'm pleased with how it turned out. I might have shown you this one before. I don't think I did, but I might have. This one is a paper napkin. I'm really happy with this. I don't usually work with paper napkins. I've got tons of them. I'm one of those people that I buy a pack every time I see one that I like, but I don't use them very often. And what I usually do is I come home and I take 2 or 3 out of the package and then put the rest of them downstairs in the kitchen, and we use them down there. But I watched a video from Creative Katie, Karen Burchell, and she does a lot of stuff with napkins. And I learned a lot. I've watched several of her videos with napkins, and I learned a lot. So that's what this is. One of my biggest challenges was getting the background and this to meld. I don't do that very well. And so I think that this was just like a brocade small pattern stencil. And I slapped on white and pink paint and then put it through the stencil, and then just took a scrunched up Kleenex or something and kind of dabbed it so that it's a mottled look without there being much of a pattern. And I'm actually really pleased with how it turned out. I love the colors. I love the way it sets up on the page. These are my butterflies that I bought. I bought them at Dollar Tree about, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, I guess. And they had several color waves. Like they had 33 or 35 in a package, all different sizes. And it was, and they're like nice not glossy paper, but nice sturdy paper. They had green, white, yellow, orange, blue, pink. I think I got one of everything. So I have like 200 butterflies that I have to use. But I really like them. And of course, why would we be surprised that I would buy butterflies, right? That's just what I do. So anyway, yeah, so I'm really pleased with this, and I think I will be doing more stuff with napkins because I have all kinds of florals and whatever, and I really like the way this turned out. And like, before I move on, like Karen, I would never have thought to do what she does, but as I learned from watching her videos, like she goes in and she'll touch up the colors on the napkin, or she'll paint over them, or she'll augment them, or whatever. And it's amazing the difference it makes on a lot of these. And I would never have known to do that. Like she might have, I don't believe I did it. No, I don't believe I did it, but I could be wrong. I don't think I painted over these leaves. But like she might go in and paint them over and make them a lighter green or whatever, right? And it's amazing the difference. I did go in and do the tracing here. But yeah, I'm really happy with that one. I don't think I showed you this one, but I might have before I added her. This was a magazine page that I cut up and kind of made a picture out of it. And liked it, but then didn't know what to do with it. So I left it and I came across this Explore. I had this stamp. So I did that and added it on. And then I thought, it still needs something. And so I was going through my papers. I've got a container about this thick that's full of all of my collage sheets that I bought over the years or saved, because having them on my computer wasn't helping me. I wasn't using them. So I printed them all off. I bought myself a new printer a year ago. I bought myself an Epson Workforce 2760, which I love. It's fabulous. I'm still working on the ink cartridges, not cartridges, the ink supply that came with it. I haven't bought any ink since. And I'm still more than half full. And I have printed hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of pages. So I'm really pleased with it. The only thing I don't like about it, here I'm off on a tangent, sorry. The only thing I don't like about it is I haven't been able to figure out how to print on tissue paper. I could on my old one. I can't on this one. It just doesn't want to do it. Anyway, I digress. So this is one of my little girls from a sheet that I bought from, I think it was from Mischief Circus, although I could be wrong, but I think that's where it was from. And I've got several of them, and they're really cute. There's probably 6 or 7 images of this type in the set that I bought, and I just decided to print all that stuff off and start using it. So that's what I did. So I'm not sure if this is finished or not. I think it probably is, but I'm not totally sure. I just think she's so darn cute. So yeah. And then this one, I don't believe I've shown you this one. This is a stamp that I bought on from AliExpress. And this was just, I don't even know what color this is. I think that this was, from a jelly print. I think I jelly printed on here. And I don't think I did a whole lot to it. I think I just put a little bit of pink on it and mounted her on here. I wanted her to kind of have a frame, because I felt if I just put her on the page as she was, she would just sink into the background. So these are die cuts from my 10,000 die cuts that I have. This is just scrap paper that I had in my stash. This is a sentiment strip from one of those kits. I think it's Tim Holtz probably or something. And this is just a little blob of paper. I felt it needed something there. And yeah, that's it. And I'm really happy with how she turned out. I think the colors really go together well. And last but not least is this one. And this is another one that I'm very happy with. This one was a brocade-ish type stamp with a very small flower. And there wasn't a whole lot of color on this to start with. I think, well, actually, it may not have had any color on it. So I put on pink paint and then wiped back through the stencil. So it got this mottled look, which is what I really wanted. I found this, I'm not even sure where this came from. It feels almost like chipboard. So I'm thinking it must have come in one of my mini bags of die cuts. Yeah, maybe it was a tag even, because I see the hole on the top. So I liked that image. I wanted to go for something that was very, I don't want to say washed out, but very subtle. So this paper is, what is this? This paper is from a magazine. And this is from a stamp I have, which I had stamped a whole bunch of them for a project I was doing, and colored them. And the ones I didn't use, I stuck away in my stash, so I dug that out. I think it goes pretty well with the mauve here and the pink. This is a border sticker, as is that. I probably have enough border stickers, being the type of personality that I am. If I could buy one, why wouldn't I buy 25? Which is exactly what happened. So if I were to use one border every day for the rest of the year, which would be roughly, I don't know, 300 days, I don't think I'd use them all up. Yeah. Anyway, I thought this went well here. Again, kind of delicate. So that's a border. This is from my Dollar Tree butterfly stash. This is a postage stamp that, I don't know where that came from. That had to be from Christmas. I was in a swap at Christmas, but I just thought that was so pretty, and I liked the purple. And then this is a die cut from my dies. So I'm really pleased with how that came out. My style is very much like this, or like this. Typically, probably more like this. But I'm trying to aggravate. I'm trying to migrate over to something a little, like this would be the type of greeting card I would make, but it's not necessarily the type of art journal page I would make. My art journal page would typically look more like this. So, yeah, work in progress, you learn. And that's the one thing I do like about doing challenges like this, although I don't always finish them, I will grant you that. But I find that the more I create, the more ideas I come up with. The more ideas I come up with, the more I learn. So I really find that it is very, very helpful to participate in challenges like that. I think I'm going to do the, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I might do the daisy yellow, depends on how far behind I am on this. But I won't do it in an index card. I'll do it on a tag, I think. And I don't post to daisy yellow if I do it on some other medium, because media, she asks that you use a plain index card. And really, I guess there's no reason why I couldn't, but I tend to like tags more. I don't know why, but I do. Maybe because I can use them. So anyway, that's it. That's all. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. subscribe, share, and leave me a comment. And please come back and see me again real soon. Stay safe. Take care. Ciao.